Today in this video we are going to learn the lesson of class 8. It's a supplementary lesson and its name is the miser. So the meaning of miser is stingy. Here you can see in the picture a person who's having so much of wealth but he is not willing to spend, and there's some picture which is highlighting some laddus. So how is it related to this lesson? Let us read, understand and also learn a moral from it. So stay tuned till end and do hit the like button if you like the video. Let's move ahead. But before that, students, if you're watching my video for the first time, to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notification of all the important videos. And also subscribe and share with your friends. Very important. Now, one more reminder to you all to subscribe Copy Class Hindi channel, as this channel is providing you all with the Hindi lessons explanation, question and answers videos, complete notes, and also along with the grammar syllabus of class 7, 8, 9, and 10. So to get the link, you have to visit the description box and subscribe to the channel and also share it with your friends. I will also provide the same link in the I button above. Apart from the students and my viewers, if you are looking forward to learn English and Hindi in the easiest way, if you are a beginner, then don't worry. There are many ways to learn it, and yes, I'm going to guide you. You have to just visit my description box and find the easiest way to learn the languages according to your level. There are many different books, courses, videos, and of course, also my channel. So you have to subscribe my channel because I'll be coming up with more such language videos where you can learn it in an easy manner, improve your vocabulary and much more. So grab this opportunity and share it with your friends and enjoy learning language. So students, now let us learn the lesson and enjoy the story also. So the story here is of a wealthy man whose name was Surinder. He was so wealthy that he had heaps of gold and silver and diamonds and precious stones. But he was a terrible miser. He was very stingy. He was so stingy that he even did not spend carefully on his family. He did not provide him good clothes, nor he gave him good food, and everything he bought was very cheapest for his family. He did all this so that he could save money. What is he going to do with so much of money when he is not using it? But anyways, so one day what happened? Surinder was walking through the marketplace and he saw a man who was eating laddu. It was very large and soft and yellow laddu, which was filled with dry fruits and raisins and cashew nuts. So even if you say this kind of laddu, how mouth-watering it would be. So it looked so delicious, and same thing happened with Surinder. He could not control his tongue. His mouth started watering, and he was craving to eat these laddus. And it was since very long time that he had not eaten laddu, and he was yearning to eat one. As he was stingy, he would not spend, but he wanted it very badly. So his wife, Vandana, she was an excellent cook and she naturally made one for herself and one for each of their four children and perhaps some for other servants. So he thought my wife could make this because she is an excellent cook, and if I say she will make it very tasty and delicious laddus. But suddenly he started thinking about, if I tell her to make a laddu, she will make one for me, one for herself, then for children, one for servants, then for neighbors and friends, and that will have too much of wastage of money with all the ingredients. So he decided that he would say nothing about longing of laddu. He thought, I will never speak to my wife that I want to eat laddu. Then what happened when he got home? He found that his craving for laddu was just not go away. He could not resist. He was just wanting very badly. He wanted to eat that laddu. Now he wanted and wanted and wanted. His legs grew weak and his stomach began to rumble loudly. Okay, how you feel hungry at that time? Your stomach starts rumbling, making sounds that please give me food. I want to eat. In the same way. So, what is wrong with you, dear husband? Vandana asked. So, wife was asking him, what has happened to you? What is wrong with you? He rubbed his stomach and groaned in anguish. And what was happening? His stomach was rumbling, it was making sounds, And he was very angry, and in his anguished manner, he said, "Tell me what can I do to help you?" Vandana said, because she couldn't see that what is making him so much of trouble. So she said, "Tell me, what can I do to help you?" So he says, "Get me a laddu to eat." Surinder muttered, "One sweet laddu is all I need to put me out of misery." Now he says the problem which I'm facing is I just need one sweet laddu. If you give me this one sweet laddu, all my problems will be solved. One laddu? Why, I can make dozens for you, Vandana says. She was very happy that, oh, my husband is asking me to make laddus for so many days. And then she says, we can also share it with your friends, with our neighbors and servants too. So when he heard this, hears this, he says, dozens? And he started thinking of the precious money, which is going to be wasted to make so many laddus. So he says, no, I do not think the neighbors or the servants need to have any share of the laddus. So he was so stingy, as we have seen in the beginning, he was not willing to share it with anybody. So she says, okay, all right, I shall make just enough for the two of us and our children. I'll just make so many laddus where you can eat, I and our children can eat. So do you think the children really need to have a laddu each? Surinder asks. See how stingy he is, how selfish he is. He is not willing to share the laddu with his own children also. He asks whether do they need to have laddu. Vandana hung her head in shame at her husband's miserliness. But she was very dutiful wife, and without protesting, she quietly said, "Okay, then I shall make just two laddus, one for you and one for me." Okay, as she was very dutiful wife, she obeyed him. Whatever he said, she did like this. Though she did not like this quality of her husband, she was very dutiful. So she said, okay, let me make only two laddus for you and for me. So what did Surender says here? But you do not even like laddus very much. There is no reason for you to have one, just to keep me company. So he is not willing to let her wife also have a laddu. So he says, just make one single laddu just for me. Now, Vandana did not say a word in reply for this, and she went to the kitchen. She made a laddu for her husband, and little while later, she served Surinder the laddu. It was large and sugary and crumbled deliciously in Surinder's eager mouth. Okay, because he was craving and waiting from a long time. How greedily he devoured it means he just took it, he put it in his mouth, and started taking bites, and he had it even without the slightest bit of remorse that he was not sharing even a crumb with his family. Okay, so he was enjoying that one big laddu all alone without even thinking about his family, his children, and his wife. Now, it so happened that when all this was going on, Saka, the king of gods and the ruler of heavens, peeped out of his magnificent palace high in the heavens. So, if there is no one watching you, there is God always watching you from above, right? So here, Saka, the king of gods and the ruler of heavens, he was watching out from his magnificent palace from the heavens. In all the eons I have lived through, I have never seen such a terrible miser, he cried. It is time to teach him a lesson. So the god says, I have never seen such a miser, such a stingy bugger till now. It's time to teach him a lesson now. So next day, Surendra went for his morning walk, and Saka, the ruler of heaven, the god, he came down in the form of Surendra. He disguised himself as Surendra. Okay, he took the form of Surendra and he walked in the front door of the house. And then he started speaking to Vandana. He said, today I'm going to share my wealth. So throw open the door of my treasure houses and invite all the townsfolk to take what they wish. Bless your change of heart, Vandana exclaimed. Now Vandana was astonished. She thought, what has happened to my husband all of a sudden? Why is he ready to share all his wealth? And he is ready to open all his treasure house's door, and he is willing to share it among the villagers. She was very happy and she was surprised also. So she dispatched a servant immediately to inform everyone in the village that the doors are open of the huge barns where he had stored gold and silver and diamonds and precious stones. You can come and you can take whatever you want, whatever you wish to. So as soon as the common people heard this, they ran and they came fast and they started taking all the things which were kept there. Soon the common people arrived, and the make believe surrender stood at the door of the barn and invited them in. Take as much you can, he said. Okay, so this surrender makes believe surrender means the surrender who is in the who is God but who is in the form of surrender. Okay, the duplicate surrender. So he was standing at the door and he invited all the people. He said, take as much as you can, whatever you want and how much ever you want, you can take and move. So do not be afraid, he said. If an impostor who looks like me comes to threaten and stop you, drive him away fearlessly. And then God says, that is the duplicate surrender. He says, don't be afraid if anybody of my same attire comes and tries to threaten you or scold you and stop you from taking my wealth. Drive him away. Just shout at him, neglect him, and move away fearlessly. Do not fear of him. Okay. Then the amazed and the overjoyed townsfolk leapt into the barn and began to grab the hoarded treasure. So they started taking all the treasure which was filled. They filled their bulging pockets and bags till they could hold no more and were ready to go back when the real Surinder arrived. Okay, so everyone carried how much ever they could, wherever they were able to fit it, they just put it in the pockets and their bags, in their handbags, whatever they had, and now they were about to move out, but real Surinder comes there. He almost fainted when he saw what has happened here. My doors of treasures are open and everyone is plundering my treasures so openly, and he was so shocked. He started shouting, thieves, robbers, and he started running forward in rage. He was so angry. Ah, said the people, this must be the impostor we were warned about. So people thought he is a disguised person whom we don't have to fear from. Surendra already said us that there will be a person, imposter of my same face, and he will come and he will try to stop you, but do not be fearful. Don't stop yourself. So they chased him and they started taking all the things. A bewildered Surinder, now he runs to the king's palace and there he goes before the king and says that, Your Majesty, I am being robbed and looted of all my treasure by the people of the town. When I protested, they began to chase me. So he took the complaint to the king. But I heard your own servant invited them to do so, the king said. Did you not give him any order yourself? So king is saying the people said that you had sent a servant to invite everyone to take your treasure. Didn't you do that? He said never, uttering a strange strangled cry. Let the one who gave the order be brought here at once. He's saying let me see who is that person who gave this order. I have never given this. The king sent a messenger to Surendra's house, and soon the duplicate make believe Surendra comes. Okay, means the duplicate Surendra comes along with Vandana and children. Now, the real Surendra, he was confused and shocked to see his impostor, like his similar face. Now, you're a fraud, he started shouting. The make believe Surendra glared back at him, and now it is you who is the deceiver, he said. Now it is you who is going to lose everything. The puzzled king looked from one to other, and even the king was puzzled and confused. I cannot tell the difference between the two, he told a speechless Vandana. Now he's saying, Vandana, it's you who have to decide who is your husband because I am not able to identify them. So I shall ask them each a question, Your Majesty. Vandana said, Okay, I will ask both of them a question and I'll find out by their answer that who is my husband. Now she turned to God Saka and asked, Is it better to be generous to yourself, your family, your neighbors, and friends, or your servants? So she asked this question whether it's good to be friendly with everyone. To all, Saka replied promptly. So he was God, he was humble. He said, Yes, you have to share with your friends and neighbors. So when you are generous, others also become generous, and so everyone is happy and prosperous. So she turned out to surrender and she asked the same questions to him also. He says no to none. Now Surrender, because he was stingy, he says no. Now, being generous only wastes precious wealth that can never be recovered. So, what explanation Surrender gives? The real surrender, he says, no, we should not share it with neighbors and friends because only our precious wealth is getting wasted there and we cannot get back that. It cannot be recovered. So, Vandana gathered her children close and squaring her shoulders, she went near Godsaka and she said, Your Majesty, this is my husband. This is my true husband. No, Surrender was really very much surprised again to see this that Vandana is not accepting him as a husband and no, my dear wife and children. He says, "You are I'm your husband." He says he tries to cry and say, but at this, God Saka stepped forward and he says, he comes in his original form. So when he God sees that now I have taught him a lesson, he comes in his real form, and he is in the form of God now, God of heavens, and he says that I'm not surrender, I'm God Saka, and I came down to just teach a lesson to this miser person, and he turned to a trembling and would gone surrender. Now, do you see what your miserliness had done? Even your own wife and children do not want you. So God teaches him lesson. See what have you done? Because of your own stinginess and miserliness, even your wife and your children are not willing to stay with you. So tears sprang into Surendra's eyes and he sobbed. He started crying. Your only hope for salvation is for you to stop being a miser. So God warns him, you don't have to be a miser now. If you want real life, good life, and happy life, you have to stop being a miser. So Saka said, can you bring yourself to be more generous? Yes, he said, reluctantly. Okay, he said. Even if he's not willing, he's saying yes. Reluctantly means even if not willing, he's forcibly saying yes. I will try to be a little more generous, he says. Then God says, you will have to be a lot more generous. I will be back for you, or else. And God Saka vanished from there. Now there was totally a cloud of smoke when God vanished from there, and Surinder embraced his wife and children happily. Now I'm so relieved that this ordeal is over, he told Vandana. So that he's happy that the case has been done. It's very clear that my wife and children are with me again. Now shall we celebrate? Vandana asked. I can make dozens of laddus again, she says, to celebrate this occasion. So again he asked, dozens of laddus? The words rose sharply to Surendra's lips, like he was again thinking about the wealth which is being wasted. Once more he felt faint at the thought of all the expense, but he clenched his fist and swallowed the words, and that came spontaneously to his tongue. Instead, he nodded his head and said very softly, "Very well." Okay. So the moment he heard his words came on his mouth that why do we want to spend so much, but he controlled himself because God has warned him just now, and even though he was not willing, he nodded his head and said very softly, okay, very well, you can go ahead and make laddus and celebrate it. So, this is the story of the miser who was not willing to use his money even on his family, but later on, God has taught him a lesson. So, the moral of the story is that you shouldn't be so much stingy that you are not fulfilling your basic needs. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the story, you understood it. If you like the video, do hit the like button and share with your friends, subscribe to my channel